Former U.S. Assistant Attorney General of the Antitrust Division, former FTC head of the Bureau of Competition. Good expert to talk to here, Bill. What do you make of the case so far, based on what you've heard and seen?
Well, it's it's a little early to predict exactly what's in there. We'll know in 10 or 15 minutes. But this is obviously a very serious case. It is suggesting that Apple, which is dominant as a provider of cell phones, 65+% is the number that I've seen banding about. It's used that power, the lock-in it gets when we buy an iPhone, to restrict what we can do with that phone, restrict what app developers can do outside of a internal Apple system. And what the government is saying, I think, is this is not competition on the merits. It's unfair to consumers. It restricts app developers from innovating. It limits the ability to pay outside of the Apple system, and that these restrictions are not justified on security or privacy basis. They really are intended to profit maximize for Apple and its shareholders at the expense of the American consumer.
Unlike a lot of other companies, Apple has literally, it seems, almost unlimited resources. I mean, they could spend $1 billion a year on this, and it would represent like 1% of their net income. I'm just curious as to how you view their ability to fight, how long it will go on, given, again, it's not like they ever need to give up when it comes to spending money.
That's right. And actually, part of what my quick look at this complaint summary tells me is that they spend a lot more on shareholder buybacks than they have on innovation over the course of the last 5 or 10 years. They have the resources to fight this. They have every legal right to fight it. But at the same time, as you were talking about just a minute ago, they are needing to comply in the European Union with some restrictions on what they can do, and they have no option but to comply with them. There's debate about whether or not they are trying to evade some of the requirements of the Digital Markets Act that just went into effect in the European Union. So I expect them to fight. Whether there's a settlement that occurs or not, it's way too early to tell. And as you were also discussing earlier, this thing is going to go on for years.
What about the timing, Bill? The fact that now we're, how many months till the election?
The timing tends to be irrelevant in terms of when these cases are brought, when they're ready to go. The government, the Antitrust Division, the Federal Trade Commission goes. It is interesting that this is a case that the investigation was initiated under Bill Baer's Justice Department. Indeed, he wrote an editorial in the Wall Street Journal a couple of weeks ago when this case was rumored to be close to being sprung, basically largely claiming credit for the case without actually really knowing what was going to be in there. So whether a Trump presidency results in this case being sidetracked, we don't know. What we do know is the investigation did begin when Donald Trump was president.
Years? Will it take years to resolve this, in your opinion?
Absolutely. There's always a possibility of settlement. One of the interesting things in this complaint, though, is 25 years ago, the Justice Department sued Microsoft, the first challenge to the dominant operating system, and using its power over the operating system to limit the opportunities for others to get on its operating system, to compete with it. The case involved browsers initially, but the settlement that DOJ entered into with Microsoft after it lost in the Court of Appeals basically was what gave the iPod the opportunity to interoperate or to get access to consumers using Microsoft's operating system. So there are potentially there's an irony here in that what Apple benefited from 20-some years ago, it's now being accused of doing exactly what Microsoft did to throttle Apple's opportunities.